Costs you don't always consider when starting your property business. That's what we're going to talk about today on this episode of the Property Unleashed YouTube channel. Hello, my name's Mark Fitzgerald. Fantastic to have you joining me here today. So what are the overlooked costs that people don't always consider when starting a property business? Now, whether it's a rent-to-rent business, serviced accommodation business, you want to do flips, you want to do refurbs, there's a lot of different things that you could do in property, which is why I love property. But there's a lot of costs as well that people don't factor in. Now, some of these costs won't affect you if you're going to have a management agent looking after your properties for you. But in general, you've got to be thinking about these things when you're looking at stacking deals. If you're looking at stacking good, solid deals that can be a legacy piece that will last a long time, then these are certain things to consider. Now, of course, I've built rent-to-rent businesses in serviced accommodation and in HMOs, so some of these things will reflect off of those. And also, you can just take what you think will work in your property business and little things that you just need to maybe do a bit of research on yourself to see what you want to use and then use in your figures in the way that you're stacking your deals. So first and foremost is to have a bit of a sort of a tenant management software or a CRM software. If you're looking at doing deals and you're talking to agents, landlords, tenants, if you are taking the tenants on, and in this instance, let's just say that you are, maybe you're looking at doing everything, let's have all bases cover, you need a good tenant management software. And potentially, if you're going to go and give it all to an agent, have a good CRM software in your business so that you know who you've spoken to, when you've spoken to them, and how you can follow up with people. Even if it's just following up with landlords, with agents, with potential vendors. If you're looking at having tenants in there as well and customers and you want to follow up with people, you can put them all into a good CRM system. Now, when you're starting out, you don't have to spend hundreds of pounds on clunky and sometimes very hard to use CRM systems. You could just use a spreadsheet. You could use Trello, which is a fantastic board type thing where you can actually move people forward on the process to follow up and things, and you can get that for free as well. So Trello is a good one to use for a CRM system. A spreadsheet's perfect with different tabs that you can follow through as well. But make sure you have some sort of system to be able to say to yourself, right, I spoke to them then, and I'm going to set this up. And remember that as you grow, it will become a cost. So maybe you're not factoring it in now. We can do a spreadsheet for nothing, or we can have Trello, which we don't use anything on. But when you actually start and you're up and running, you will want to factor these costs into your property business. And I always say, treat it as a business, not a hobby. You know, you can get a couple of properties, just rent them out, leave them to sit there. And if that's you, I'm surprised you're watching this video. If you are anything like me, you want to build a business. You want to build something that can give you financial freedom. You want to get something or build something that's going to get you out of your corporate job if you are stuck in one that you don't want to be in, and it will give you time freedom. But first and foremost, you may even be thinking you want a legacy piece for your family, for your kids, and you want a retirement piece as well. So treat it as a business. Remove the emotion as well when it comes to asking questions. Oof, I can't ask that, I can't ask this. That's a different video altogether. But as it's a business, you can ask these questions because you need to know these things. But let's get back on track here and let's look at the cost of things. So you need a good CRM or tenant management software. You need to do your research. You need to have a little look. I've done videos on this in the past of how to set up a property business. So I give you my recommendations in those. So feel free to go back through those episodes and find that for yourself as well. But make sure that you start whatever we're going through here, you need to put into your business, that we do start factoring that in, coming from your profits. Otherwise, it's coming out of your own pocket, in which case it's coming out of your profits anyway. So the next thing that people really do overlook is marketing. And of course, you may just want business cards. You may want a brochure. You may want a flyer. You may want letters. But you need to factor in marketing. You may just want to do networking. But networking costs money. Events, you may be able to go for free for the first one. I host the Great North Pin, which is an online networking, property networking event. And you do need to pay to come to that event. Now, if it's your first time going to the event, you can use Mark31 as a voucher code and I'll pay for you to go to your first event. Thank you very much. No problem. But if you can continually be out there, which you should be doing, maybe look at the membership schemes that certain event operators have, because it saves you a bit of money, but factor it in. You're going to be paying petrol, transport, buses, trains, whatever it is to get there. It all costs money that you should be putting through your business. Now, I'm not FCA regulated. I can't tell you what you should and shouldn't be putting through your business. But if you've got a property business, whether it has any properties in it or not, you have a limited company, you should be putting, these sort of expenses through your business. If you're buying books, now if you've already got an understanding of a subject, but you want to find out more, you should be putting those through your business as well. But again, it comes at a cost, okay? And there's all too often so many people that don't do these right things, that leave the costs out. So make sure that you have a marketing budget. Now, I have a spreadsheet which explains all of this, which if you want a copy of, if you email us at hello@thepropertyunleashed.com, I'll send you a copy of this. It's not openly on the website, although you can check the propertyunleashed.com website. It may be on there now to help you set yourself up as a business, but it is there so that you can put these different things down, you can monitor them, you can track them, and you can make sure that you're budgeting for them as well. And most of the time, when it comes to marketing, a lot of people think, I need so much money to do marketing, but you can do it very cost effectively. You can do it in very simple ways. You've just got to be consistent and persistent in it. And if you've spent a lot of money on marketing and it's not worked for you, mix it up, change it up, try different things, but don't stop. Because if you stop, then all that money that you've put into your marketing is down the Swanee at the end of the day. I've had people ring me up 9 months after I last sent them a letter because they kept it. Crazy stuff, but it's out there. Nobody can do business with you if they don't know about you. So marketing is very, very important. It is a cost. It's a very important cost that you need to be budgeting for. So if you have set yourself up, you've set up a limited company, you're buying properties, or you're looking at doing rent-to-rent strategy or something like that in your limited company, there will become a point at the end of the financial years where you're going to have accounts. So you want to be saving a bit of money, putting it to one side to be able to pay a bookkeeper, an accountant to go in there and just do your end of year accounts for you on your business. Now, if your business hasn't actually traded, or maybe it's in negative because it's a lot of outgoings without anything coming in, it's not going to be a massive cost in taxes and stuff like that. Again, I'm not FCA regulated, so you need to see and seek professional advice for that. But equally to that, it is nice to be able to pay a professional to get it all done properly. And when it comes to an accountant, in the beginning, you don't have to spend an absolute fortune, but equally to that, don't go for the cheapest. Go for a good, creditable accountant that you know will do a good job for you, okay? Very, very important. But then again, it is a bit of a cost, okay? Don't panic about it. We are a business at the end of the day. We are out there trying to look for clients, trying to look for customers, trying to look for deals. But again, make sure that you have a pot for your accountancy to make sure that you're set up properly. Of course, if we are doing deals, whether it's rent to rent, whether it's buying properties, we are going to need a bit of money potentially for doing refurbs. Now, I teach my students how to get deals without paying for refurbishments, but normally something does need a lick of paint, maybe a carpet here or there, or maybe the property just needs dressing. You know, if you're doing holiday lets or anything like that, it's good to have needs and funds that you can get to. Now, whether that is a savings, whether that is a credit card, whatever it is, if your numbers stack and your deal stacks, you obviously can fund it any which way you want. If you're buying properties and doing refurbs, then obviously it's a whole chunk of change. You may be teaming up, doing joint ventures with other people as well. But again, it's still what you need to budget for. And also, just have a bit of a contingency, have a bit of money that potentially you can get to if you really need to. You know, if you've done a deal or something like that and you find something, which you will if you're doing big refurbs, you'll always find something there that you weren't expecting that will cost more than you were hoping for it to cost. So make sure you have access to these funds. You don't necessarily have to have them all there, but you can, if you need to, access these funds in an emergency to make sure that you can get the deal done, to make sure that you can get yourself up and running and focusing on what you need to be focusing on. And of course, with the refurbs and everything, Most properties will always need a bit of dressing. I say I've never done refurbs. I've done light refurbs, painted a few rooms, changed a few carpets and things like that. Don't pay deposits on the deals, rent-to-rent deals that I'm doing, because it's a business-to-business agreement, and you should make sure that you know how to negotiate deals without paying deposits. But I do dress properties, but a lot of the time when you've bought a few bags of dressing, you can potentially leave them in certain properties, in certain areas, if they've got cupboards that your cleaners use and things like that. You can use some room dressing in different properties at different times. But I like to go in there and make sure that the kitchens have got everything clean, nice, new. It doesn't have to be new, but clean and nice cutlery, plates, things like that. Splashbacks are where they need to be in the kitchens as well, if anybody spills anything. You also want, hot placemats, chopping boards. You don't want people just using your worktops for all of these sort of things, whether you're HMO or serviced accommodation. You've got to make sure, very important, that you've got these things in place, that they are there to be used, and potentially you've got them in your house notes as well, so people know that they are there, where they are, and to use them. It obviously keeps the costs down if they don't damage anything whilst they're using communal areas. And of course, if they do damage something in a communal area, it can be difficult to find out who's done it. So you just need to watch out for those things, have it all in place, and most people will use them and respect the tools that you put there. But again, it will cost you a few quid to do. Now you can go to places like B&M, The Range, IKEA, and get these things relatively cheap. You can actually go to Pound Shop and buy your cutlery, your plates and things from the Pound Shop, and they do pretty good stuff actually. So it's really cost effective. If somebody breaks a plate, costs a quid. Don't really matter, does it? Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, you're not going to go out of business because somebody's broken a plate, but you need to make sure you've got a few quid there to be able to do so. And of course, as a property business, there are certain memberships that we need to be members of, and they cost money. So ICO, doesn't really matter what you're doing in property, but if you're holding people's data as a business, I would just say get the ICO membership. It's under £40 for the year, and it just makes sure that you're covered if you're doing any marketing or anything like that. As I say, if you're sending out emails, letters, you're just working with people, but you're holding people's personal data, get ICO registered, okay? That's first and foremost. That's what you should do as soon as you know you're going to be a property company. Or even if you're doing it as a sole trader, I'd still get ICO registered. I just have that on all of my businesses as a complete and a no-brainer. Of course, if you're looking to do rent to rent, you want to be a member of the PRS scheme. That will cost you. Don't necessarily need it now. You will need it when you get a deal. And of course, there's insurances that we need as well. So we need public liability insurance and professional indemnity insurance on us and the business. Even if you're a sole trader, you still want to have those things. So they're going to cost you as well. And they can be between 30 to 40 to 50 pounds per month for the insurances and stuff, but so important to have. Don't skimp any of these things. But equally, I'd like to obviously finish up here and say, you don't need a ton of money to get started. Some people say to me, I'm not getting started, Mark, until I've saved, 10, 15 grand. And this is to start a rent-to-rent business. You don't need 10 or 15 grand. It'll help. Don't get me wrong. If you've got that, it's really going to give you a leg up. It's really, really, really important, and it's going to help you, but you don't necessarily need that. I had about 1,500 quid when I started, and I didn't spend that. My first property, after I'd done contracts and things, which cost a few quid, but once you've got them, I can reuse those in my business. I spent about £300 on dressing the property, and that was it. My first deal was up and running, cash flowing about £550 a month. I then did another one, a little bit more dressing, spent a couple of hundred quid on that one, just sorting out a few bits and bobs, painted a couple of walls, so that cost me a couple of hundred quid there as well. But again, you don't need thousands to get started, depending on the strategy that you're interested in. And if you are interested in starting a rent-to-rent business, then visit thepropertyunleashed.com, where we've got free tools and resources to help you. 10-step guide in rent-to-rent, 10-step guide in serviced accommodation, and a deal analyzing spreadsheet. And if you want to take it to the next level, we have the Rent-to-Rent Business Builder program that can take you through building a rent-to-rent business, something that can last, something that can get you out of the 9 to 5. We also have the ultimate serviced accommodation business builder. There's a trend there, isn't there? Acting like a business. That training is supported by my good friend Graham Linley, who is a serviced accommodation master. He is the biggest serviced accommodation provider actually in the Nottingham area, and he trains you, teaches you, coaches you through starting from scratch in serviced accommodation to building a six-figure business. He has a massive business and he takes you through everything that he has and he has done in his business, and there's plenty of different strategies and ways to do serviced accommodation as well. So if you're interested in that, then reach out to us, find out more. Go and visit thepropertyunleashed.com, click on the links and see what it's all about. And if you have any questions, I'm more than happy to talk to you about those things. I hope this video's helped you. I hope you've enjoyed it. Feel free to share, subscribe, like, leave a comment. Always looking to help people. Come and join us in the Property Unleashed Facebook group and the Business Builder free Facebook group if you so choose to. Follow me on social media platforms. Remember, I won't message you, but you feel free to message me and we will talk to you about whatever we can talk to you about and help you any which way we can. So until the next episode, you take care and bye for now.